Hello, friends. Welcome to the Southern State of Golf podcast. Hi, I'm your host, John, and welcome to April. We're recording this episode the week before the Masters in April 2026, and we're excited today. On today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the Masters and what it takes if you decide you want to come to the Masters in 2026. But first, I want to talk a little bit about we're excited to be a part of the BestBall family of podcasts. Go to bestball.com and you can check out all the great podcasts that are a part of this family. There's the Whole Story podcast, Off the Deck, Pictures on the Scorecard, and that's good. Pick it up. A lot of outstanding, different golf podcasts that tell golf stories. You can also go to the website, bestball.com, to get more information about the Best Ball Golf Club. It's an online community built on one belief: golf is people. And with golf is people, there's a lot of great golf stories and camaraderie. I'm really excited about this Best Ball Golf Club that's been building up this year. It's only growing. Love to have you come check it out and be a part of it. Well, in today's episode, like I said, we're talking about the 2026 Masters coming up. And no, we're not even going to talk hardly any at all about who might win the Masters, who's the favorite, the different players. I don't know. Would it be hard to bet against Rory? Would it be hard to bet against Scotty Scheffler? Even though I don't know if either one of those are, going to be right there. But can you really bet against Scotty? But today we want to talk about, let's say now, the week before the Masters or the week of the Masters, you decide you want to come to the Masters golf tournament. What would it take to actually go to the Masters golf tournament? Well, this year, to me, the Masters also incorporates the Augusta National Women's Amateur, also known as the ANWA. And this year it is on Saturday, April 4th. And then it also, I put the Masters kind of in there with the drive, chip, and putt, which is on Sunday, April 5th. Now, the event, the ANWA on April 4th is at Augusta National, same with the drive, chip, and putt. So, go to themasters.com and you can check out all the information when it comes to, dates, times. First of all, masters.com is your go-to place, plus the Masters app. That's another one to download. If you're going or thinking about going, you need to download the Masters app. Go to masters.com. It has all the patron information. We're not visitors. We're not guests. Patrons, people that actually get to go. But there's all the great information each day of when's open, what parking lots open, what time do they close. This is one of those, if you're going to the Masters golf tournament, you're thinking about it, it will give you all the great information on there about what's allowed. One of the things that's not allowed, which I think everybody knows, cell phones aren't allowed. That is a big no-no. Also, another one that's people probably don't know unless they go, running is not allowed. I've seen and heard of grown men being thrown out because they decide to run on the Masters round. So if you get to go, even if you're excited about your opportunity, don't run. So there's a lot of great things going on. The one kind of cool things that I think is cool about the Masters is from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on the practice rounds, they do allow people to bring in cameras. No, they will not allow you to bring in your cell phone and use as a camera, but they'll allow you to bring in a small camera where you can take pictures on those practice round days. And so I think that is something really cool to do. And I did that years and years ago. And I've got some good little pictures from when I was out there. Of course, that was before the cameras were really good and my photography skills were not good. But remember that from April 6th to April 7th on those practice round days, those are great opportunities to go out there, take your camera. Like I said, you want to go to masters.com to check out the very specifics on those, on what is allowed and what is not allowed. It's just a really cool thing. Well, when you're thinking about going to the Masters, the biggest hurdle, obviously, are tickets. Most of you, the cool thing about the Masters is the common folk can get tickets through the lottery. But in the lottery, I think is done either June or July of every year. But I've known more people that won the money lottery than I've actually heard of winning the Masters lottery. I haven't heard of too many people doing that. But every year, I think we all put in for that Masters lottery, just hoping we'd get the opportunity, to go to the Masters and pay I think the price of each ticket's like $100 a day practice round. Maybe it's not even that much, but whatever it is, it's one of those people are gladly to pay it. But let's say you don't get fortunate and you don't get into the lottery, you don't win the lottery. If you're a week out and you want to go to the Masters, what is it going to cost to get in? Well, this year it seems to be The tickets seem to be in short supply, huge demand, short supply. Let's just say you want to go to the Augusta National Women's Amateur, and I checked this the week before the Masters, and the cheapest ticket I'm finding is about $1,000 for that Saturday on April 4th. So if you want to go on Sunday, the drive, chip, and putt, I see where you can get into the Augusta National Grounds at $750. Now, I'm pretty sure on the drive, chip, and putt, the whole course is not open. They only have certain areas open for that. So imagine that's why one of the cheapest opportunities to get into Augusta Nationals there. Now, if you want to go watch practice, and yes, I am talking about practice. The cheapest that I saw on Monday is $2,600, Tuesday, $3,700, and Wednesday, $7,400 to watch practice. What other event in the world can command on the secondary market thousands of dollars to watch people practice? That is beyond mind-boggling to me. And what is mind-boggling to me too is like, I can understand why some people might do that. Like, I can understand if you've got the money. First of all, the Augusta National experience is amazing, especially if you're into golf and that is your thing. I think it is amazing. But to think that people will spend that much money to go to a practice round. Now, I will be one of the first to admit, I probably would almost rather go to a Wednesday practice round than I would maybe a Thursday or Friday competition round. I know that sounds crazy, but I think Wednesday, hey, I could bring in a camera. Wednesday, I'd also get to see the par 3, which starts at 12 o'clock on Wednesdays, according to the website. And I think in my experience, I've been to a practice round and a competition round. It seems like people and the players are a little bit more laid back and enjoying it during the practice round. So for me, and also too, we'll talk about this later on Wednesday, the gear store, the merch, as people talk about now, is that the stores are actually pretty fully stocked. If you wait until later in the week, the merch store is starting to run out of things. So for me, I almost think I'd rather someone gave me an opportunity. I'll let you go Wednesday or you can go Thursday. I'm going to take Wednesday right off the top. And I'm certainly not going to pay for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Because if you look, the cheapest that I saw for Thursday tickets, $12,000. Friday, $500. Saturday, bargain basement, $11,000. And Sunday, $8,300. And that was just what I saw. Now, the thing about this, like I said, this is being recorded the week before the Masters. I would imagine next week, these prices will completely change. And they'll also change with the weather. It is crazy how different these, if there's a higher chance of rain, the prices go down. The weather's great, the prices will go up. I also do think that Augusta National is putting a lot of effort in catching resellers. So I think there's a lot of people who may get the tickets or may have gotten them year after year, but they're choosing not to sell them because they don't want to get caught. They don't want to be on the blacklist, kind of like Hop Sings from Seinfeld. You banned from Hop Sing for 1 year. I mean, except in Augusta National, they don't ban you for 1 year. They're going to ban you for life. So a lot of people, when they get these tickets, if they get them through as a family a year after year, they're not wanting to sell them because they don't want to lose them. I've even heard of different things where Augusta National was trying to put, and this may be true, maybe not true, where they're trying to put like GPS trackers in the tickets. So where if any of these tickets went to a particular area known to be a resell spot, that they would void the tickets, which is nuts to think that, but it's also brilliant to think that that's probably a smart way to do if they want to try to cancel them. So there's just not many tickets on the market. And when people get them, they don't want to sell them. I mean, you think about it, for a lot of people, if they win the lottery, I want to think about it, for most anything in life, if you were given something that you could turn around, let's say you were given something that may have cost you $100. You won in a lottery for $100, but you could go sell on the secondary market for $10,000. How many items do you have that you wouldn't turn around and sell immediately? There ain't a lot. I think most people sell a lot, but I would also imagine, especially a lot of golf people, if they won the lottery, how many of y'all would sell that Masters ticket? Or would you take it for yourself and then go to the Masters? I got to believe more people than not, they're going to go to the Masters. They're not going to want to sell a ticket. I know this guy right here would. Me, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't sell it. I would think about it, to be truthful. If something I paid $100 for and someone wanted to give me 10 grand for, I would, gosh, I would really think about it, but I wouldn't sell it. I would go to the Masters. I would want to enjoy it. Also, I saw online where if you wanted a pass from Thursday to Sunday, all 4 days, $22,000. That blows my mind to think for 4 days. There are people that don't make $22,000 a year, but yet 4 days of the Masters, there are going to be people willing to pay that amount. So that is something interesting. I would encourage you, if you're just now like, all right, I'm going to make a commitment to go, I'd be very careful where you buy your tickets from. I wouldn't buy it from any online posting by Craigslist, if that's still a thing, or these random just postings off Facebook with somebody you don't know. Like if you're going to StubHub, I even think like SeatGeeks, they don't even sell them anymore because it's just a hassle. VidSeats, I would have to find a very reputable group to buy them from. In that cases, you're probably paying a pretty penny. But it's one of those things where I would just keep checking every day, different places to try to find what is going to get you the best bargain, and especially if you have some flexibility on when you're going to go. And two, how important is it for you to go the entire day? You might be able to find something midday on Monday if you just want to go for 4 or 5 hours. You might be able to find something for a few $100s and it not cost you an arm and a leg, because these prices do go down typically as the day goes on. So check it. It just depends on how important it is to you. But of course, if you're driving or flying all the way to Augusta, aren't you going to want to spend the entire day? But I will say this, if someone's going to give me an opportunity to go to the Masters and they only charge me, say, $200 or $300, but I could only go midday from lunch on, sign me up. I'll do it today. I would go even for an hour, 2 hours, just to go walk around. I think it's that amazing. So your biggest hindrance on whether or not you go to the Masters is obviously the tickets. That is such a wide range, but if you're going to go to an actual practice round or competition round, it looks like bare basement right now is 2,500, with the ceiling being up to 12,000. I can't even talk. I can't even speak because it blows my mind that any one ticket for any one day is going to cost 12,500. So you're looking at a wide range there. But if you're one of those people that you just want to get into the grounds, you just want to see Augusta National, walk around, go to the merch shop, pro shop, maybe the animal or the drive, chip, and putt, you can get in for maybe under $1,000. And I bet if you've timed it right, maybe you can find a ticket for 500. I don't know exactly what the weather's going to look like, but it does, what I've seen, the weather looks decent so far, but check it as it gets closer. Now, the next challenge, and there's a lot of challenges here, is lodging. Where are you going to stay? If you're wanting to stay in Augusta at a hotel, good luck. There's not much availability. I just picked from Wednesday to Friday. I searched on Marriott.com. They do have one room available at the Courtyard by Marriott in Augusta, Wednesday to Friday at $1,900 a night. $1,900 a night. Let that sink in for a hotel room at a Courtyard. Courtyard is no 5-star place. I like Courtyards. I would typically try to stay at a Courtyard when I go somewhere else, because that's a little bit better than just completely basic, but it ain't far from it. This Courtyard during the week normally probably costs $150 a night, but during the Masters, $1,900. And I got a feeling by this time next week, it will be sold. Now, there are other places you can stay at, a Motel 6, a little less nicer places that you could probably get there's a couple that are in the outskirts of the Augusta area for $500-$600, but I don't think I would stay there. Now, there are some Airbnb houses in the Aiken, Augusta area, which you could probably get for about $500 a night. So if you're getting a group of people together, you might actually find a decent place and not make the cost prohibitive. But I would also encourage people, if you're coming from out of town and you need to stay in Columbia, or you can stay in the Jonathan's house from the Whole Story podcast. He's, I think, invited half of the world to stay at his part. I think he's running an Airbnb for a couple of days, but unofficially. But there are Airbnbs in the area that are they're not cheap, but they're not cost prohibitive. But I would encourage people to go stay in Columbia, stay in our hometown of Columbia, South Carolina. Now, the rates in Columbia are still higher than normal, but you can stay at a good Marriott, like a Courtyard or something, 200, 250. There's the Marriott downtown in Columbia, which I think is a really solid hotel. I think it's like 319. From Columbia to Augusta National, it's about an hour 15, somewhere around there. It's drive to me, that's not a bad drive. I would rather drive somewhere, drive an hour, pay $300 a night as opposed to drive 5 minutes and then pay $1,900 a night. That's just me. And plus, Columbia, while we welcome and embrace Masters people and the people that come in, it's not crazy busy in downtown Columbia. It's not crazy busy in the city where it'd be tough to get around. Like I've been in Augusta a couple times where traffic is awful. It's hard to find a place to eat at night where you're not waiting a long time. So I will tell you this, like lodging, you can find places to stay around Augusta, near Augusta, and it not be what I call cost prohibitive. Now, is it going to be cheap? No, but cost prohibitive? No, not so much. Now, one of the challenges, travel. Like, how are you going to get to Augusta? If you're trying to fly, first of all, trying to fly into Augusta is going to, even like a week out, it's going to be really difficult. But depending on where you're flying from, there are, I looked around, there's some flights that are reasonable to Atlanta, Charlotte, and even Columbia, where, I said it really depends on where you're coming from. It's not that bad. Here's the catch. Outside of the flights, one of the biggest challenges is a rental car, if you're going to get a rental car. First of all, I just checked, there are no rental cars at the Columbia airport. There's no rental cars at the Augusta airport during those times. So if you're flying into Columbia, before you book that flight, you better check to find out what is your transportation needs. What are you going to get? Because you're not going to get a car at the airport. Now, you could get a car at an off-site location in the Columbia area, but then you're going to fly in, you're going to have to get an Uber, to the rental car place. It's not super easy, but even then there's a lot of limitations on what's available. Even Atlanta for rental cars. I saw the cheapest thing I saw was $140 a day, and it wasn't for an extravagant car, but that's still an option. From Atlanta to Augusta, it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So you might be able to get a cheap flight in Atlanta. The challenge, once again, there is how cheap is the flight worth if you got to spend $140 a day on a rental car. Or you could fly into Charlotte. Charlotte to Augusta is 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's a lengthy stay, but depending on your budget and your time, it's not crazy. They do have, I will say this, Charlotte does have rental cars during the Masters for about $45 a day. So for me, that's something to think of, because anytime I travel, I always look at the different airports. How far away is it? What's the value of the flight? What's the value of the transportation to and from, like a rental car? Is there transportation that's provided from the airport to the hotel or wherever you're staying at? So hopefully, maybe you don't need to fly in there. Maybe you've already got a car. Well, so if you got a car, fantastic. You're in great shape because parking is free at the Masters. Now, if parking might be a little challenging, if you wait to the last minute, I do think parking fills up, but it's, everything that I've done in research is there's a lot of parking at the Masters grounds. So you should be able to figure out, you shouldn't have to pay for parking in most cases, especially if you go early in the day. But, a lot of things to think about. That's why I encourage people, if you got your own car and you're trying to save costs, go stay in Columbia. Aiken's still pretty expensive. There's not a lot of hotel options, but stay in the Columbia area, drive down, it won't be near as much hassle. Now, the one part of your Masters experience where I think you can be a bargain is the food. Now, and it's only food actually at the Masters Golf Tournament. I mean, there is a lot of great food options. First of all, I'm one of those that if you're going to invest a whole day at the Masters, you go eat your breakfast, go eat your lunch, and then, I would even have my dinner there if I could. I think you could actually, if you had $20 cash, although they do not take cash, it is a cashless facility. You could eat well for $20. Their sandwiches are $1.50 each. Their egg salad, pimento cheese. Now, their pork barbecue, $3. Their savory tomato pie. Haven't heard a ton about that. Those are $3. The Masters Club is $3. There's chicken salad, $3. Classic chicken, $3. There's that. And then you got your breakfast. You got the chicken biscuit, $3. There's a breakfast sandwich, $3, and just different things. Your soft drinks are $2, bottled water too. The most expensive thing there is the domestic beer, the import beer, white wine, and the crow's nest beverage. Those are $6. Those are the most expensive things on the menu. Then you got your snacks. I got apple slices, chips, peanuts, Southern cheese straws, cookies, a lot of other different things. Now, the one new thing is the Masters candy bar. They've talked about that. New for 2026 is the Masters candy bar. I do have a request. Anybody going to the Masters, bring me back if you can a Masters candy bar. I want to try it. I think it would be cool. And crazy thing is, I'd probably get the Masters candy bar. I would eat it, but then I'd also save the wrapper. I wonder how many people save their wrappers from the different things that they get at the Masters. Probably a lot more than just about anywhere else. I know people certainly save those cups. But let's just say you are not actually going to get to go to the Masters, but you want a taste of the Masters. The Masters, as of this week, and it might be too late by the time this podcast come out, you can get what they call a taste of the Masters. And there's a large hosting kit for the low price, with some sarcasm, or maybe a lot, of $189. You can get a large hosting kit. What comes in this large hosting kit? This is what it comes with. It comes with pimento cheese, a 24-ounce tub, a pork barbecue, 24-ounce tub, egg salad, 24-ounce tub, 6 bags of plain potato chips, 6 bags of barbecue potato chips, 6 cookies, Georgia pecan caramel popcorn, 6 bags, and a Masters branded souvenir cups, a sleeve of 25. There's Masters coasters, branded wax paper, and printed menu. Now, they do say that is delivered to you, free shipping, of course, after you spend $189. Crazy thing is, I'm still thinking that would actually be really cool because I'm not going to get to go. But for $189, maybe I can have a little feast around the house. So if you can't go to the Masters, go to masters.org.com, and you can find a way to get the large hosting kit. I think that would be really cool. If you got like 10 people together, you're talking about $20 a pop. That wouldn't be bad at all. But when we're talking about food, you can go in there at the Masters itself and not spend a ton of money. I think I still would spend, I say $20. I know I would spend more than $20 because I would want to try most everything on the menu multiple times. People talk about the pimento cheese with good reason, but man, I remember the last time I went, I really, really liked the egg salad sandwich. But let's say you're there at Augusta, you leave and you want to get something to eat at night. There's a lot of other different great options of things to eat there in Augusta. When I go to places, I like to go to places which I normally can't get when I'm at back home. There's the Frog Hollow Tavern there. It's an upper scale restaurant that has got great reviews. It's a local favorite, a lot of place of people to go. I have not been there yet, but I've heard really good things. Now, the one place I have been that I think is really cool is Boll Weevil's Cafe and Sweetery. There's a lot of great cakes and good things there to eat. Like if you're trying to get your sweet treat there in downtown Augusta, really, really good. I mean, there's a plenty of other good things. One place that's gotten some good reviews is the 1018 Club. Just not far from Augusta National. Then they got the Curry Hut, which the Curry Hut, if you were to look at the picture of it, doesn't look anything special. Matter of fact, if I just see it, I wouldn't be into it, but it's one of those places. I've read different reviews that they say for curry is really good. One of the things too that I think is one of the Augusta, staples is a T-Bone Steakhouse there in Augusta, which you see often when you come in from Augusta, going to Augusta National. So there's a lot of good places. If you're looking for a breakfast place, one that I like, another Broken Egg. Now, me personally, if I'm going to the Masters, I'm going to have breakfast there at Augusta National. But if it's like the next day and I'm flying out, another Broken Egg there in Augusta, great spot. There's another Broken Eggs in different parts of the South. I really encourage that. So food-wise, it's the one thing in this whole item you can get out reasonable. Although once you eat offsite from Augusta National, you're going to have long lines. It's, especially if you stay in the Augusta area. But that's why another pitch, stay here in Columbia, South Carolina. You can still get in restaurants reasonable time. All right. Now, here's the one thing that I would tell people that I think can get you into the most trouble and under budgeting. It's the merch hall, whatever, if you want to go on TikTok, just search merch hall, Masters merch hall. there will be people that go in there. I've read many times where people say, "Oh, I had a budget of spending $500 and I came out and I spent 2,000." Like I've seen that multiple times. I have not heard of anybody that goes in there with a budget and they're like, "You know what? I spent way under my budget." Everybody's like, "I spent way over my budget." Because you get in there, you see some cool stuff, and you're like, when am I going to get to come back to the Masters? So they blow it up. So this is one you've got to have some discipline, or you've got to go in there realistic, knowing, you know what, I think I am going to blow it out this time. I'm okay with, you know, putting a little bit on that credit card. Remember, it's cashless only. Um, so keep that in mind. The big thing that people talk about is the gnome. I struggle with thinking, God, do people really want to buy the gnomes? I've already saw it's a big thing on social media. The gnome for 2026 has got an umbrella that can be taken on and off. I don't know. Would I want a gnome? Not really, but I will admit, if someone gave me tickets and I went the next one day and they had a gnome there, I'd probably buy it. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'd probably buy the gnome, probably put it up in my office. It'd just be a little keepsake thing that you talk about. Now, the cool thing too is it is a operation there. Like it is a serious operation. Like they've got where you can buy the stuff and there's a way to store it and you can pick it back up later. You can have it shipped back home. Because I mean, could you imagine if you flew all this way and then you bought, you know, a lot of stuff, trying to pack all that back? I'd be the one I'd try to pack it all the way back in my suitcase and all that stuff. But you can ship it back home. They've got a whole area that's dedicated just for shipping things back. Now, once again, these prices are not, uh, not bargain basement prices. You know, you're going to spend some money. They're not cheap. But I do think there are some things in there that you can get a value. You're not going to feel like you're getting legally robbed. You know, the merch hall, that is the one that could mess up your budget. That's the one on all of these, outside of the tickets, obviously, that I think people underestimate how much they spend. And one of the other things too, if you're going to the Masters, maybe you're not going to go all day and you got a couple of days off or a day off. What do you want to do? A lot of people like to play golf. Imagine that. If you go to the Masters, you want to play golf. In the Augusta, Aiken area, there's a lot of really good places to play golf. Now, there's a lot of places that are private clubs that open themselves up for the week. But it does come with a price. There are no bargains here. I will tell you this, if you're trying to play golf in the Augusta, Aiken, and even here in Columbia, there are no bargains. Now, are there good places to go play golf and relative bargains? Absolutely. For example, you know, the Aiken Golf Club, which we played earlier in the year, which I think is a fantastic place to play, underrated, frankly. The week of the Masters, it cost $175 to play. Normally during the week, a normal week, not much at all. I think I can't remember, $50, $60. I can't remember what it was, but you know, during the Masters week, it's 175. But I will tell you this, it is a really good golf course. And if you want to play and you can't get another place, if you're there during Masters Week and you want to play in Aiken Golf Club, you're not going to feel like you wasted your money. It is a really good place. Now, here's some higher upper scale courses that still have availability, like the Tree Farm. Then when I checked their website earlier today, there's still some availability. Now, it's either on the front end or the back end of the Masters. During the middle of the week, there is no availability for golf. But front end or back end, they've got some availability, but it's going to come with a price. It's $850 a round plus $140 cash for the caddy. So you're going all in for a round of golf at the Tree Farm for about $1,000. Now, it does come with a breakfast. It does come with a lunch. That is fantastic, by the way. It's not like they're just going to throw you in a little sandwich. You know, when we went and played back in September, the lunch that I had was fantastic. One of the best lunch. It was the best lunch I've ever had at a golf facility. It was phenomenal. Wasn't good. It was phenomenal. Really good. Old Barnwell has some April access. Now, I don't know for sure how much availability they have. You can go to oldbarnwell.com. You'll see at the top, they've got April access. There's Forest Hills Golf Course there. They're in Augusta. Now, their prices is $180 to $300. Palmetto Golf Club, which is one of those golf clubs that is a private club that opens it up this week. There was some availability. There's not a whole lot. You can email them and find out if there's any availability left. masters@palmettogolfclub.net. Then you got the Augusta Country Club that says that they have some Masters play availability. And there's just a lot of different places. Also, there's Selena. The Bryan Bros course that's here in the Columbia area. They've got from March 30th, which is now, to April 22nd. Time they call it the Alizé season. They've got different golf, their golf fees are anywhere from 1,200 to 1,600 to 2,000. I'm going to assume, and I know how assuming can get you in a lot of trouble. I'm hoping that is for a foursome, but if that's for a single, that's really pricey. Haven't had an opportunity to play that. But my point is, you can find a place to play when you're in the Augusta, Columbia, Aiken area for the Masters if you want. Now, once again, you're going to have to pay for it. You don't look for any bargains here. And the best courses, especially in the area, they're still going to cost you a good bit of money. So let's add this all. What will this run you to do the trip? I mean, the obvious answer is it just really depends on the tickets. I mean, are you going to go for a Monday practice round for 2,500? Do you want to do an annual for about 1,000? A drive, chip and putt 700? If someone gave you $2,000, could you visit Augusta National and have some fun? Yeah, you could if you're not spending a night anywhere, and you wanted to go to the drive, chip and putt, or the annual. But if you're trying to, spend multiple nights, play golf, go to an actual practice round on a Monday or Tuesday, I mean, honestly, you're probably talking at least $5,000, and it blows my mind thinking about it. But if you're just driving in for a day or two and you wanted to go see Augusta National and go to the Anwar or the drive, chip and putt, and then maybe go play golf somewhere, and then you're going to spend a night, you might be able to do all that for about $2,000. I will say this, as I've gotten a little bit older, I'm really big on experiences. Like I I don't know if I've met anybody that's told me that they've really regretted spending money playing golf. I don't know if I've heard of anybody saying that they regretted spending money to go to the Masters. I haven't heard that. Now, like I said, I'll go back to, you got to be careful with that gear. I think the gear is the one that can really get you. You get in that thing, well, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm only going to buy a couple of things. That couple of things turns in like six, and your budget of like $200 to $300 turns into $600 to $1,000 quick, just like that. So you got to be responsible. But the Masters is not something you can really do on a budget. Can you get by and figure out ways to be more reasonable? Yes. But like I said, the tickets into it, that's the biggest thing. I mean, if you can get a free ticket or you get a ticket for face value, you can figure out ways around the rest of it. The big thing, as far as it not being crazy, you don't have to spend the night in the downtown Marriott there in Augusta for $1,900. You can find a place in Columbia for $200 or less. Food wise, you can load up at food there at Augusta National if you go to that, and it not be crazy expensive. The flying in and out, I get that can be a challenge, but even then, I will tell you, if you're willing to pay to fly, you can find something reasonable. Now, the tricky part is the rental car part. But I believe if you can get a ticket, you can figure out a way to make the other happen. And you should. I would encourage you, especially if you got a will and a desire to go. The key thing is getting a ticket and what are you willing to pay? I think that's one of the magic things a lot of us golfers think about. What are you willing to pay for certain experiences? What are you willing to play? What would you pay to play Cypress Point? What would you be willing to pay to play Augusta National? What would you be willing to pay to go to the Masters? I might actually think a little bit differently if I didn't live in Columbia, South Carolina, and I haven't already been twice. I might want to pay more. Like, I know a lot of people that go to the Masters. I know a lot of people that went to the Masters. I know people that have played Augusta National. And like I said, I've had an opportunity to go twice. I might think drastically different if I even lived in North Carolina or if I lived in New York or California. I might think drastically different. But I will say this, like I said earlier, I haven't heard of too many people say, gosh, they really regret spending money on a once-in-a-lifetime trip, once-in-a-lifetime experience, especially with their buddies. Now, I'm not telling you to go put your kid's college savings fund aside to go to Augusta National. Don't do that. But if you got the means, go do it. What do would you rather spend it on that, or would you rather spend it on, a better car? I don't know. And that's a personal decision you got to make. But I will say this, like I said, I haven't heard too many people regret it. well, go into the Masters and investing in it. So I would love to hear from y'all. Hit us up on social media at SS of Golf. We're on X and Instagram. You can shoot me an email as well at southernstateofgolf@gmail.com. I'd love to get your feedback. I'd love to hear it. If you have the Masters candy bar while at the 2026 Masters, let me know how it is. I might even do an unwrapping and eat one. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do the unwrapping business. If I get it, I'll do a review of it, but I'm not going to do it while I'm eating it. But I hope you get an opportunity to go to the Masters, or you just get an opportunity to kick back and relax and watch it, or you want to get wild and crazy and you get the taste of the Masters. You buy that large hosting kit. Either way, I hope y'all have a great Masters week, and I appreciate you investing your time listening to another episode of the Southern State of Golf podcast. Have a great day.